Om Shri Sai Ram. On behalf of the Center, we extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you, and a very special welcome today to our dear guest, Dr. Sunam Gyamtso Tenzin. We're doing a very brief introduction without further delay. Dr. Sunam has been blessed but with many divine interactions with Bhagavan Baba from childhood, having been called into the physical fold in the 1970s. He was a student at the Sri Sathya Sai Institutions from high school all the way through his doctoral studies. He is a wonderful speaker and a versatile musician with talents in singing, composing, and playing on the harmonium, tabla, accordion, and much more. Being musically blessed, he has been inspired to compose many bhajans, which have become part of our regular bhajan sessions at Sai Centers around the world. Dr. Sunam was instrumental in composing the music for many of the plays and dramas that Bhagavan wrote and directed for the students. He currently lives in Gangtok, Sikkim, India. Dr. Sunam, it's such a pleasure to have you here at the Torontoyorksai Center. Welcome to you, and without further ado, we welcome you for the program. Om Shri Sai Ram.
करुणा स्वरूपिणी राजराजेश्वरी त्रिभुवन पालिनी परतिपुरीश्वरी करुणा स्वरूपिणी राजराजेश्वरी करुणा स्वरूपिणी राजराजेश्वरी करुणा स्वरूपिणी राजराजेश्वरी त्रिभुवन पालिनी परतिपुरीश्वरी त्रिभुवन पालिनी परतिपुरीश्वरी हृदय निवासिनी अखिलांडेश्वरी हृदय निवासिनी अखिलांडेश्वरी धारिणी हृदय निवासिनी दश भुज धारिणी असुर विनाशिनी त्रिभुवन पालिनी वरदी पुरेश्वरी त्रिभुवन पालिनी वरदी पुरेश्वरी करुणा स्वरूपिणी राजराजेश्वरी त्रिभुवन पालिनी भरती पुरेश्वरी. My most prayerful salutations at your divine lotus feet, most beloved Bhagavan. Dear sisters and brothers, Sai Ram, pranams to all of you. This being the eve of the Navaratri, I felt prompted to start our satsang today with this beautiful bhajan. And I feel more encouraged when I see such wonderful musicians sitting here and a wonderful flutist also in addition. So we'll sing this bhajan again. I'll tell you the story also behind this song. And I would request him when we sing this bhajan again to play something beautiful on Rag Bihag on your flute so that we could sing this again. It was 1984. Navaratri had just commenced in Prashanti Nilayam. Those were the times when Swami had commanded that people should not sing bhajans mentioning Shiva, Parvati, the consorts. The main idea being that Swami said, when you sing Shiva Parvati, people think of their own Parvatis here. And Radha, Krishna Radha, you sing like that, and people start imagining their own Radhas only. So it said, na rahegi baans, na bajegi bansuri. That was stopped. And then we had to modify every bhajan almost. So the first day after Swami's commandment, I thought that one bhajan, Hey Vishwanatha, it's a full Shiva bhajan, so let me sing that. I never noticed that the second word itself was Gaurinatha. And Swami said, on the second day itself you disobey my commandment. And it was all done in utter innocence, not really knowing, not intentionally. So Swami pardoned that one. So this was going on for quite some time. And then it was Navaratri. And boys told me, why don't you sing Raja Rajeshwari Jagan Mohini? And that was just a day before this happened. Swami walked up to me on the veranda and he chided me for, he said, Tumhara tan idhar hai, man udhar hai. You're like a butterfly, just flying around. Your mind is everywhere. Control yourself. Then he said, I don't, you sing bhajans like, you should never sing such bhajans, Swami said. When it is Shiva Chidam Digambara Omkara. I was singing Shiva Chidambara Omkara. When Swami really wants to chastise you, then he finds all these beautiful means of doing it. So he said, why did you say Shiva Digambara Omkara? So Digambara is one who doesn't wear anything. And why do you say Shiva Chidambara Omkara, Digambara? All this I don't do. And then Raja Rajeshwari, Jagan Mohini, such bhajans you sing. Which Rajeshwari you are thinking about? So when on the third day of the Navaratri, when one of the brothers, he asked me, Sunam, you should sing today Raja Rajeshwari Jagan Mohini. I said, no, I'm not going to sing that bhajan. So that being Navaratri, we thought we could sing only Devi bhajans. So I thought of singing Jagato Dharini Mata Durga. And I was all set and ready to sing Jagato Dharini. And Swami was seated on the throne. And no sooner my turn came, I got all flustered and I forgot the Jagato Dharini Mata Durga. I forgot the title of the bhajan itself. Then, to my utter surprise, quite involuntarily, I started singing another bhajan. And that was this bhajan. Durga Bhavani Ma Jaya Jaya Sai Ma Durga Bhavani Ma Jaya Jaya Sai Ma Kali Kapalini Ma Jaya Jaya Sai Ma This was the bhajan. We'll sing it later on. But then what happened was, I started the bhajan, Durga Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Sai Ma. And to my discomfiture, there was some disturbance around me. People were laughing. Something that doesn't happen unless Swami permits. So I looked around me and people were all laughing at me. So I got totally flustered. And I looked at Bhagwan. And you know, those were the days when you would look at Bhagwan and Swami would be intently looking at you. And the moment you look at him, he would look elsewhere. He would go look outside the door. And so we all used to prefer to sing, close our eyes and sing bhajan. Because when you close your eyes, it was ensured that Swami would be looking at you. So when I looked everywhere, people were laughing, and when I looked at Bhagwan, Swami also looked out of the door. Then I closed my eyes and continued with the bhajan. This second line itself, Kali Kapalini Ma, Jai Jai Sai Ma. So when I looked around me, because there was more laughter this time, and I still remember Kabir's face, the way he was laughing. Kabir was one of our brothers, and I'll never forget that expression on his face when he was laughing. And when I looked at Bhagwan, Swami also looked at me and he was laughing. And it was such a rippling laughter. And then he was doing like this. He has lost his head. And he was telling me this, that you have unscrewed. And then he was laughing. And then when I saw Swami like that, all of a sudden, Swami's hair right in front of me, his hair fell like a hair lock, like a lock of hair on his shoulder. And his lips turned so red. And then he was so beautiful. And then when I saw Bhagwan like that, I was completely in a shock. I forgot the bhajan. We'll just sing it together. Kali Kapalini Ma, Jaya Jaya Sai Ma. Kali Kapalini Ma, Jaya Jaya Sai Ma. Durga Bhavani Ma, Jaya Jaya Sai. परम शिवायिनी मां, जय जय साई मां। 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 जगतो धारिणी मां, जय जय साई मां। जगतो धारिणी मां, जय जय साई मां। जगतो धारिणी मां, जय जय साई मां। दुर्गा भवानी मां, जय जय साई मां। That was the first time I saw the face of beauty. I saw the face of the mother. And for one whole week, I lost my wit completely. I went and told my sister, because our entire family, we were living in Prashanti Nilayam. And I told them that this is what happened today. And then my sister was in ecstasy hearing about that, because she would all the time even think about the mother and get into an ecstatic state. So that day, this was the darshan that I had. I thought I should share this with you. When you think of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, one of the most beautiful things that come to your mind is the informal way in which Swami all the time taught his children. I'm not only saying students, but everyone is a student in his university. Even in fact, when I got the PhD degree from Bhagavan, I had got it after a lot of tapasya. It was really a hard work to get a PhD in Sathya Sai University. So when I got it, ultimately my name was being announced there. So I went up on the podium to receive the gold medal from Swami. And this is what Swami said. I was on the verge of breaking down. And, on the drop of a hat, I would just cry. And Swami said, "Don't cry. People are watching." And then he said, "Out of the university, into the universe, go," Swami said. So it was a great message for me, which was given to me in the privacy of just Swami and me, standing right there in public. But he made it so private for me. So, the informal school of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, wherein he teaches the most esoteric of all thoughts, all scriptures, he teaches us in the most informal manner. What intrigues me is he never held a book in his hand, never a text or a scripture in his hand. Yet he expounded on the highest of scriptures all the time, in the most profound manner. And his ways were so wonderful, as much as his gait, as much as the manner in which he spoke and he sang. I always remind people, friends, brothers and sisters, about the omni look of Bhagavan. Have you ever thought of that? One sweeping look of Bhagavan, and everyone would feel that I had what we call an eye contact with Swami. Everyone sitting in the crowd, be it thousands of people sitting out there, Swami would just give a sweeping glance at everyone. It was like a scanner passing through everybody. And everyone would be so happy. I had a special eye contact with Swami. So I thought that maybe it's easy to do that, I tried it out 2-3 times. Nothing happens. You try it yourself. One sweeping glance. And the eyes that you see ultimately will look glad back at you and say, why are you gazing at me? Because no one is bothered. But you know why Swami does that and it becomes so effective? Have you ever thought of it? When Swami gives a sweeping glance, everyone feels that Swami looked at me. How does it happen? It's simply because He is seated in everyone's heart. He is each one of us. And each one of us who sit there long for Him. And because of that longing, each one of us, we feel attracted and we feel that Swami has looked at me. Now only the avatar can do such a thing. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has said this in no uncertain terms. That only the avatar can look at everyone and make everyone feel that the avatar has looked at him. So that, apart from this, the way in which he delivers, the way his sermon, just a very simple poetry that he reads out, he sings out. And after that, the whole discourse. And in that span of a discourse, he answers the doubts, he addresses the doubts of every person, every individual sitting there in the crowd. The other day I was mentioning about a group of Gujarati devotees who were telling everyone that, Swami, I have got all these problems. And he says he is God. Let us see. It was like throwing a challenge to Bhagavan. Let us see how he proves his worth as God. We mortals sometimes challenge the immortal one. And in doing so, we try to bring him down to our level. And then Swami gave a discourse, and that discourse was, it sounded like he had so many topics interwoven together. At the end of the discourse in Purnachandra Auditorium, this group of people, they were all crying. And I said, later on, as we were going out, I said, sometime back you were saying these things about Bhagavan Baba and now you are crying. And one of them told me that he is God, wo to Bhagavan hai. Every one of my questions, every one of my doubts, he has settled. He has answered. So when you look at these wonderful ways in which Swami teaches, that is why Swami says that I am Sai Sai is basically simple, adorable, and informal. Swami himself said, simple, adorable, and informal. Sai is very, very versatile. You think of anybody, when Dr. Gyamtso, in his own parlance, when he thought of Sai, you know what he thought about Sai? How he got the meaning of Sai? You know it very well. Especially those who run the school here. Is there anyone from the school here? Is there anyone from the school? I'm not going to ask anything. But is there anyone from the school here? Nobody from the school. Yeah. So, Dr. Gyamtso is not new to you. He must have come to this country so many times and visited the school. For him, SAI stands for Standardization, Accreditation, and Inspection. SAI Sai. How many things can you make out of Sai? Service, adoration, illumination. It came from his divine mouth. For us, in my first year, when I was in my 11th grade, Swami said in this discourse, spiritual awareness of individuals is Sai. Sai Sai. So we made a program much later in Sikkim, from Sai to Sai. And the title of the program was Sai to Sai. SAI Sai as Service, Adoration, Illumination to Sai. So one day I heard Swami say this to Mr. Indulal Shah. The other day I was, I think, narrating this, did I? As AI Sai. I said this. You know, such a beautiful thing. Swami was asking him very casually on the veranda, क्या हो रहा है organization में? So all superlatives. Swami, बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है Swami. सब भक्ति में डूबे हुए हैं. Swami said, हाँ, बहुत खुशी. कोई problems हैं? Problem कभी कभी स्वामी लोग सुनते नहीं हैं, नहीं तो सब ठीक है स्वामी. Swami picked on that सुनते नहीं है. Swami said, क्यों सुनता नहीं है? जो तुम कहता है वो नहीं सुनता है लोग. मैं कहता हूं तो सुनते हैं, तुम कहते हो तो नहीं सुनते हैं, क्यों? Then he said that स्वामी आप तो भगवान हैं, आप जो कहते हैं आपकी आज्ञा का जो है पालन होता है. Your whatever you speak, your injunctions are all obeyed. But me being a mortal, when I say, people don't listen. So Swami said, how much of what you say do you practice? Because when you practice, then people will follow. You don't have to say it. Then that day Swami said, what is so special about the Sathya Sai organization? Tell me. I thought this being almost my penultimate this time, satsang with dear sisters and brothers here in this country. Tomorrow maybe I have one more opportunity. And then day after tomorrow I'm gone. So I thought that in the fitness of things, let me share a few things about what Swami said that day about the Sathya Sai organization. Because it's so relevant and so beautiful. Once in a while I throw a question at you and you should interact. Swami said, what's so special about the Sathya Sai organization? Then he mentioned, United Nations organization hai. It's a huge organization with global representation. And we have a Sathya Sai organization. Why do we need an organization? So the immediate answer that comes to all our minds, if a question like that is posed, he said, Swami, ye to aapka organization hai, Swami. Just throw it on Swami, you know. And Swami said, हमारा organization नहीं है, हमको organization नहीं चाहिए. I don't need an organization. He said, Swami, this is your organization. That's why it's so special. And Swami said, no, I don't need any organization. You need the organization. Think of it. Does God need an organization? His is the whole universe, out of the university into the universe. So where is the need for us to think that Sai needs an organization, this is Swami's organization, and then we are working in his organization, and we are also helping him in his organization. These are all our imaginations. That day Swami made it very, clarified everything. Then Swami said, that's not the right answer, give me another answer. Why is this organization so special? So another gentleman who came along with him, I'm not mentioning names here, no names are mentioned because these things are now history. So he said, Swami said, no, this gentleman said that, Swami, this is a very spiritual organization. And Swami said, please tell me what is spiritual about this organization. And what is not spiritual about any other organization. Because you are putting spirituality in a nutshell and saying that this much is spiritual and the rest of it is mundane. So what is spiritual and what is mundane? Tell me. So again, nonplussed, no answer. Then Swami said, I'll tell you. And can you imagine what Swami would have said about the organization? What's so special about the organization? Can anyone just say? What's so special? Because we all belong to the Sathya Sai organization. And let us replay that moment, relive that moment when Swami asked. Because when Swami singles out a person and asks somebody, it's meant for the consumption, for the benefit of everyone in this world. The whole Bhagavad Gita was vouchsafed only to Arjuna. But it was meant for mankind because everyone is an Arjuna. Partha is Prithvi Putra. Everyone is Sita, Prithvi Putri. So we are all Sitas and Arjunas. So whatever Swami said that day was meant for everyone. It was only targeted at somebody, addressed to someone. So can you just imagine what Swami would have said? Anything? Okay, let's save the time. Swami said, this is the only organization in the entire universe ever in human history, Swami said. Ever in human history, this is the only organization that stands for the realization of every individual that he is God. Everywhere, other organizations, there are so many religious organizations, they point to some destination somewhere and say that we have to realize God. But here, this is the only organization that convinces you that you are God. Do you know that? Do you realize that? Swami said. Then the second one I'll tell you, this is the only organization which structurally it is not vertical but horizontal. In all structures of organizational structures in the world known to mankind, they are all pyramidal, Swami said. Wherein the base doesn't see the top, and the top cannot see the base, because the base is so bloated and big. And the top is so, it thins down to spirals up to one man sitting up there. So it's a top-down approach, wherein the base cannot see the top, so top cannot see the base. There is a huge communication gap. And because of that, all organizations, human organizations, including the United Nations organization, is failing, Swami said. It fails because of that, because of the structure. The third one, Swami said, can I now ask you what might have been the third one? Swami said, this is the only organization where there are no posts, no pelf, no power, only roles and responsibilities, Swami said. There is no post, no pelf, no power. Only roles and responsibilities. Elsewhere, people clamor for posts. And then they get tied to the post. And they never come out of the post, Swami said. They get glued to the post. And then that is how they get caught in this maya. They get caught in this samsara. But in the Sathya Sai organization, it is not for bondage. It doesn't bond you to a post, but it liberates you. So these are the important. There are so many other things that Swami said to cut things short. There are so many other things that I would like to share with you. These are the things Swami said are important about the Sathya Sai organization. So right from the organizational structure of the Sathya Sai organization, the way in which you should run the organization. So Swami said that day, if people don't listen to you, then I'll give you the formula. And the formula is S-A-I, Sai, Swami said. Sai, S क्या होता है? Sensitization. A क्या होता है? Awareness. और I क्या होता है? Implementation. If you follow these three, anything that you do through the organization will succeed, Swami said. First, you have to sensitize. It's a very organizational Mahamantra that Swami was giving us. Swami said you have to sensitize an issue. Any issue that you feel needs to be addressed very urgently, first you sensitize it. It should be an issue which is a shared vision. You should have a shared vision. You should believe in that. You should not share your vision. You should share vision that everybody envisions. If you are able to do that, then you will get a lot of cooperation from everyone. Swami was teaching. So sensitization is when you share everyone's vision. Here is an issue. What do you think? What's your call on it? So everybody has an opportunity to say something about it. And then ultimately you bring it on the table and everybody thinks, everybody now is sensitized enough to really feel that this is an urgent issue. This is a commonality, it's a common issue. Then Swami said, now you build the awareness. An awareness platform should be built about that issue. So that everybody believes that I want to do something to address this. I want to contribute to this. And then implementation, Swami said. So the implementation is last. Swami said, you should never jump into anything without asking why. The whole problem is you ask the question why at the end, because you don't have a sense of awareness. So we have to sing bhajan, immediately sit and start singing bhajan. Ultimately, why did you sing bhajan? If someone asks, we have no answer. No, he wanted to have a lot of fun, you could say. We wanted to really freak out. We wanted to really be very happy. And ultimately in this, it comes down to such a level that, a satsang session also could become an event. It becomes event management then. The ingredients for a satsang, if somebody like me comes, then you'll place a harmonium here, microphone here, and then everybody, and you need people to sit and listen. So you send out invitations to everyone, people come. So the audience also needs to be there. So everything is done, and ultimately if the audience turnout is more, then juxtaposed to that, we say that, oh, fantastic, it was a grand success. So many people came. It was a great success. And somebody sang so well. Everybody was happy. So we forget why did we do it at all. So if we start with, Swami gives us a beautiful story about in a kingdom, there was once a lot of wailing happening. Everybody was crying and crying and crying and spilling out of the palace, and everybody was crying. So the common citizen went and asked, why is everyone crying? There's one man who was not crying because he didn't know the reason why people are crying. So he said, why? So somebody said, I don't know, but my elder brother is crying, so I also cried. So he went up to the other person, thinking that this might be the source of all this, wailing and crying. And so why did you cry? He said, no, my dad is crying. Our dad was crying, so I also cried. No, the dad was a courtier in the court of the palace. So he went to the dad and said, why did you cry? He said, the queen is crying. Then they went up to the queen. Of course, I'm cutting short the whole story. There were so many others in between. They went to the queen and said, Your Excellency, Your Majesty, why did you cry? So she said, my favorite pet, the beautiful donkey, he is dead today. So my pet is dead, so I was crying. So the whole population was crying because of the death of a donkey in the palace. Swami himself told this story. So we do things without knowing why we are doing. That is why Swami said, you don't succeed. You sit for meditation without really knowing that you want liberation. I had a beautiful experience once, Swami picked up a lady from the crowd, from in the darshan line, and that lady, she came and she wanted her husband also to come. Swami said, only you. Husband was not allowed. She was not allowed to, tell the husband that you can also come. With the husband, there was also her grandson. So both of them were, kept at bay. And this lady was ushered in. And that day, a few people from Australia, some whites were there. I was there. And then Swami said to this lady, "Ha, Amma, bolo tumko kya chahiye?" After vibhuti, normally Swami gives vibhuti, applies it on everyone's forehead, makes everyone feel settled and very, very well settled. Then Swami says, "Okay, tell me, what do you want?" So Swami asked this lady, "What do you want? Kya chahiye tumko?" And she said, "Swami, ab to bas moksha chahiye, Swami. जिंदगी में बहुत नाच चुकी हूँ." स्वामी से बहुत अच्छा डायलॉग है. कौन सा फिल्म का है? वो मीराबाई फिल्म का डायलॉग बोलता है. So she says, "स्वामी आप प्लीज ऐसा मत कहिए स्वामी. Don't play around स्वामी. Don't do this to me. अब तो आँख मिचौनी बंद कर दीजिए स्वामी." More dialogues, Then Swami said, अच्छा बात करता है बात में. Then Swami gave interview to everyone. I was not taken in for the interior interview. Everyone got interview. Interview means that inner view that Swami grants everyone in the ante room, inside the room. Then after that, Swami came and settled down on his throne. He wiped his mouth with a handkerchief. And then Swami looked at this lady and said, "हाँ अम्मा अब बोलो क्या चाहिए? रिंग चाहिए, लॉकेट चाहिए, क्या चाहिए बोलो?" "स्वामी अभी आपको मैं बता चुकी हूँ, हमको मोक्ष चाहिए स्वामी." स्वामी से, "तुमको बोला ना, पागल मत बनो, रिंग चाहिए, लॉकेट चाहिए बोलो." से स्वामी मोक्ष चाहिए. स्वामी से, "ऐसा करो, अभी तुमको स्वामी मोक्ष देता है, तुम डोर ओपन करके बाहर जाओ, तुम्हारा हस्बैंड और तुम्हारा ग्रैंडसन उधर बैठा है, उसको गुड बाय बोल के आ जाओ, तुमको मोक्ष देता है." She said, "Why स्वामी?" She said, "तुम्हारा अभी डेड बॉडी यहाँ से निकलेगा, क्योंकि मोक्ष का मीनिंग क्या होता है? तुम्हारा बॉडी का डेथ होगा, तुम्हारा स्पिरिट स्वामी में लीन हो जाएगा, तो अभी तुमको मोक्ष देता है, जाओ." She said, "स्वामी नहीं चाहिए." स्वामी मोक्ष नहीं चाहिए. When you don't ask the question why, this is what happens. After why, everything sounds very relevant. How also sounds relevant. What also sounds relevant. Yeah? Oh. I thought I was looking at very Indian faces to everyone. I took you for granted. I'm so sorry. So Swami said, "What do you want? Tell me." So she said, "Swami, I have danced enough in my life. I want liberation." Swami said, "That's a nice dialogue from some movie. What do you want? Tell me. Do you want a watch or a locket?" So she said, "Swami, I just want liberation. I told you, Swami. Don't do this to me, Swami." So Swami went inside, gave interview to the other people, came back and settled down on his throne. And once again he asked this lady, "Tell me now, what do you want?" And then she said, "Swami, I want liberation." Swami said, "I'll liberate you now. You open the door, go outside this room, and say goodbye to your husband and your grandchild and come back. I'll give you liberation." So she said, "Why, Swami?" And then Swami said, "Because you are going to die now. What do you think liberation is?" That was the purport. You are going to die now, and your dead body will be taken out, and your soul will merge in me. You will merge in me, Swami said. And then she said, "Swami, I don't want it." So, a big lesson that we learned, not only about how to run an organization, but what is the purpose of the organization? Because every organization has a mission statement and a vision statement. You know it very well. Now, what might be the mission of this organization? What might be the vision of this organization? Have you ever thought of it? Is it sitting and singing bhajan alone? Or a soup kitchen? Or whatever we do? Are these the only things that we are expected to do in the organization? Or is there much more to it? So sometimes, if we sit together and mull over this, think about this, it sounds very, very interesting. Because I have done that sitting all alone, because I am my best friend. So when I am sitting alone, I never get bored. Because when I am alone, Swami has taught us, be God, think God. It's a great opportunity when you are alone to be God. So in the small hours of the morning, do we really wake up and in the small hours of the morning? At what time do we wake up? 5 o'clock, fantastic. All of us, we wake up every day at 5 o'clock, meticulously. So we have different times when we wake up, especially on a day when you don't have office. We could be a little bit laid back. So Suprabhatam can wait for some time. Or maybe we don't do Suprabhatam. And I asked one gentleman once, "Do you do Suprabhatam?" He said, "Yeah, I do it." And I said, "Why do you do it?" He said, "No, it's a nice feel when you are waking up God." I said, "It's not to wake him up, it's to wake yourself up." He said, "I'm already awake." And I said that we are not awake. Swami tells us this is daydreaming and that is night dreaming. This is also a dream, Swami says. That Bhutakasha, Chittakasha, Chidakasha stands so well defined when we think on these lines. On a Bhutakash level, we feel we are awake and just kicking around. But basically we are still sleeping. We are in slumber. So the wakefulness comes when? When does it come? When there is inner awakening. So we'll just go into that because Swami has said a beautiful thing to one of our great devotees, and it shows how Swami continues to guide you and me and everybody. Whoever is pining for that guidance, Swami continues to guide. But suffice it to say that a group of pandits one day went to challenge Swami. And before I tell you this, we'll just sing one bhajan. You know, slowly the voice is opening up. Because of talking too much every day maybe, I was not sure that whether I would be able to sing. Even yesterday I was not sure, even today. But after a few bhajans, that voice opens up. And Swami told me this long back. Swami was just shifting to the Rajmata's house when the old bungalow was being demolished. And it was being demolished, and Swami said, "These people are not allowing me to live in my house. Let's go out now." So we all went out to Rajmata of Navnagar's house, and there was a housewarming bhajan session with Swami in the evening. And during that bhajan session, there was nothing wrong with me. Like my voice, everything was in good condition. You know, I could have sung for hours. But when I sang at the appointed time, I was unable to sing. And I was unable to pronounce the higher notes. Like today, I'm unable to touch reach out the higher notes. So when that happened, my ego was pierced. So I was thinking that so many people are watching me. Actually, nobody is watching you. But we get an unnecessary feel that people are looking at me, people are watching me, they are noticing me. And then I felt that I should somehow make it known to the humanity here that actually I could not sing because I have a sore throat. Otherwise, normally I am a good singer. That's the idea. So I was into my second year degree, second year graduation. Then Swami looked at me and gave me the opportunity. Swami said, "Problem hai, you have a problem." The omniscient master, he knows everything. So he said, "Let me give him a chance to, play the fool." So Swami said, so I said, "Yes, Swami." I just showed myself, "Yes, Swami," fully affected Swami. Swami said, "Your ego is blocking your voice," Swami said. Then Swami said, if you are my singer, nothing in this world can stop you from singing except your ego," Swami said. And later on this morning I was telling them, Swami says, ego is edge God out. So when you edge God out, Swami says, if you have ego, then I also go. So voice gets choked. Hopefully it's not happening that way nowadays. And whenever you feel that, you feel so fantastic that yes, Swami, I am being lifted by you, I am being carried by you. Otherwise you sometimes don't know. Sometimes you feel loneliness. You feel, very lost and forlorn sometimes. And all of a sudden, in that mood, a beautiful bhajan comes to you. The next moment you are composing a bhajan. And he never keeps you alone, aloof and alone. So that's the feel. So I wanted to sing a bhajan. Is there any bhajan that you would like me to sing? Now please don't feel that this guy is again waiting for farmaishi. It's not that at all. It was a very festive occasion in Prashanti Nilayam. And this man who composed it, Kalyan Chaudhary ji, he was caught by the feel of that festivity. And he composed this bhajan. The bhajan, the moment you listen to this bhajan, this is a bhajan composed almost 60 years back maybe. But it's as fresh as ever. As fresh as Bhagavan. Every bhajan is Bhagavan. Sai Jayanti Prashanti Niketan. Sai Jayanti Prashanti Niketan. हृदय सारथी सत्य सनातन. हृदय सारथी सत्य सनातन. साई जयंती प्रशांति निकेतन. सुमधुर गंभीर नाम संकीर्तन. सुमधुर गंभीर नाम संकीर्तन. भक्त वृंद करे आनंद नर्तन. भक्त वृंद करे आनंद नर्तन. साई जयंती प्रशांति निकेतन. हृदय सारथी सत्य सनातन. साई जयंती प्रशांति निकेतन. सुमधुर गंभीर नाम संकीर्तन. भक्त वृंद करे आनंद नर्तन. भक्त वृंद करे आनंद नर्तन. साई जयंती प्रशांति निकेतन. Does it give a feel of festivity? Sai Jayanti Prashanti Kine. There are some bhajans, the moment you sing, it's like a sunshine. It's like, the rising of a sun. There's one more bhajan like this. Muralidhar Gopal Madhura. You know this bhajan? Josna Reddy ji used to sing this bhajan. Raja Reddy, their composition. Composed by Kalyan Chaudhary, sung by Josna Reddy. She used to sing this. And no one can sing like the way she used to sing. The moment you sing this bhajan, you are lifted up. Any bhajan is like that, but there are some certain bhajans, the idiom, the phrasing of the bhajan is such. Sai Jayanti Prashanti Niketan also is like that. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you sit, when I sit and listen, what I do I can share with you. When I sit and listen to a bhajan, I listen to every feel of that bhajan. I feel that bhajan. And then you are taken to ecstasy. If I listen to the bhajan from a very technical point of view, how many brigas were given, how was the swara pronounced, did he do justice to the ragam and all that, there are some people who don't enjoy the bhajan at all. They clap. They keep, so especially Carnatic classical concerts, if you go, tens of people in the audience, they are doing this. And especially if there's a jugal bandi going on between ghatam, mirdangam and, the khanjira, At that time, this goes on, and especially if the person is a tabla player, that's it. He'll shake his head. And if it falls on some, he feels that I am the first one to discover that. The whole world has to look at him to see him his discovery, So then ultimately we have lost the whole program because we are engrossed in our own finding, in our own discovery, in our own research. So when you sit for bhajan, this is what I have learned from Bhagavan. One is that be the song, that Swami says, be the bhajan. Don't sing the bhajan, be the bhajan. Million times Swami would tell us this. But at the same time, the best way to enjoy that bhajan is be lost in that bhajan. Feel that bhajan. Forget about technicalities. Whoever does anything doesn't matter. The bhava is important. So, we'll sing that bhajan a little bit later. There are so many songs that I had actually written down here that I wanted to sing today. So, a group of pandits, they wanted to best Swami. They wanted to teach Swami. They had heard that Swami makes, according to them, Swami made a potpourri of, all the scriptural injunctions and made a sacrilege, like allowing the ladies to chant Gayatri Mantra. Swami has allowed. Ever in the history of Hinduism, women are not allowed because women have only one samskar. Do you know it? You know it very well. Shodasa samskar it belongs only to men folk. 16 different transitions in life. And women have only one samskar. What is that samskar? Getting married. And once you are married, then you live the life of an ardhangini. So that's the only change, that's the only transformation. And Swami, now because if I say this again, somebody will go to hit the other tangent and say, so Swami is a great social reformer. We make these small mistakes, But Swami has brought about, his discourses have brought about a sea change in human attitudes, mental attitudes everywhere, throughout the world. So one of them is this, the becoming a dvija, what do you call it? Upanayanam, one more. Yagyopavitam. So this Yagyopavitam, so I feel very distinguished that I am the only Tibetan Buddhist whose Yagyopavitam has been done and I am a dvija. So in right earnestness, when people ask me my gotra and sutra, I say I belong to Apastamba Sutra and Bhardwaj Gotra. And I am a full Pandit. I am a Brahmin. Not Pandit, but Brahmin. There's a difference between a pedant, a scholar, a Pandit, and a Brahmin. So a Brahmin is not by birth, Swami has taught us, but by your action, you are a Brahmin. By your thoughts, you are a Brahmin. So in thought, word, and action, Swami wanted us to become. So I also got into that group of people who got initiated by Swami into the Gayatri Mantra. And since that day, I swore to myself that I am going to do my Gayatri Upasana every day. And the Gayatri Upasana has done such wonders and miracles in my life, you can't imagine it. And one of them I can share with you, but suffice it to say, this one I'll forget to tell you. This group of Pandits, they thought that Swami has committed, very big sacrileges, like allowing ladies to sing, do the Gayatri Japam, and then saying that Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, all this caste class compartmentalization, Swami has completely, given a new dimension to it, new definition to it. You know what the definition is? Of Varna, Ashrama, Dharma? Varna and Ashrama. Do you know that? You know it very well, you don't want to tell me. What are the Chatur Varna? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And based on this Chatur Varna, this Varna stratification, there has been the most heinous crimes have been committed against humanity in our motherland, India, and elsewhere also, I think, wherein the Brahmins, they tend to feel that these are the lower castes. In fact, somebody came to Puttaparthi and thought Swami was lower than him, because Swami is not a Brahmin, and I am a born Brahmin. And I've said this last time, Kamodhani Garus, Did I? So then I can tell you. Kamodhani Garu, I dare to say Kamodhani Garu, but he was Brahma Rishi, Kamodhani. And he was a Brahma Rishi and a Chaturvedi. A Chaturvedi is one person who knows all the Vedas by heart, like he has committed the whole entire, he has drunk the entire Vedas, assimilated the whole, the essence of the Vedas into himself. So Swami had called his, and those were the younger days. Swami was very young, and the Veda Purush Saptagyan Yajna, which is now commencing from tomorrow in Prashanti Nilayam. So that Veda Purush Saptagyan Yajna was happening. And the Pandits were invited very officially. So the Pandits didn't come as devotees. They came as Purohits, as Pandits, to do their business and go back. Receive the Dakshina and go back. That is what the priestcraft says, you should do that. So when he ultimately took the Pad Namaskar of Bhagwan, and Swami stood there as the Veda Purusha, and he had to take Pad Namaskar because everyone was doing it, so perforce he had to take Pad Namaskar, but he felt, he felt that he had to cleanse himself because he had touched Swami's feet. Touched the feet of someone inferior by caste. So he went to Chitravati, where the river was flowing so well those days. So he took many dips like this inside the river. You do this. And ultimately, with all the mantra chanting and the dips, he felt very cleansed. And he was coming back to the mandir. And Swami in the old mandir, the same mandir, but not decorated as it is today. Without decoration, the first phase of the mandir. Swami was standing on the eastern, on the slope of the portico. Swami was standing somewhere there. He called Kamodhani, Karara. And when Mr. Kamodhani, he went to Swami, Swami said, look at this. Swami showed him on his palm. And on his palm, he saw himself like in a television, he saw himself like in a movie doing all this. Swami said, how stupid and comical you look, see? And then Swami said, by doing this, if you get cleansed and purged, the fishes are better than you, Swami said. Because the fishes are all the time inside water, That was what actually echoing Kabir also had said the same thing once upon a time. So Swami said, you don't need to do. And since that day, Brahma Rishi Kamodhani never left the portals of Prashanti Nilayam. Till he died, he was, I think, 102 years old when he left his mortal coil. And luckily for me, he shared the room next to my grandmother's room. Swami had given a room to my granny, which was later on next to that was Mata Ishwarama's sister. And on this side was Kamodhani Garu. And I had the opportunity to eat the prasadam from Kamodhani Garu all those years. In the evening, whenever it was possible, I used to be there. And then he would drink the tea. The tea from the canteen. Million times boiled tea, That tea used to come for him. Nothing special for him. And you know how he used to sit? Throughout the day, he would sit in one position like this, without moving. And by evening, around 5 o'clock, he would stir up. Around 3 o'clock, he would get up for the tea and again sit down there. And then around 5 o'clock, he would go for darshan. And he would be totally well caparisoned, well ornamented, because Swami had given him ear rings, which were so heavy that, the ear lobes were all hanging because of by the weight of that. And then the shawl that he used to drape himself, all golden, what do you call it? Gold emblazoned shawl, and then kurta, everything, and huge wristlet, locket, whatever. He was well, bejeweled, and then he used to walk like this and go for Swami's darshan and sit in a corner and come back again. And then he would retire for the night. So I have seen him sit in samadhi. Like if you ask me what samadhi is like, no, this is samadhi. Not the one that we see in Prashanti Nilayam and we call it Mahasamadhi. Because Swami doesn't attain samadhi, he is the attainment. He is the giver of samadhi, the bestower of samadhi. So to say that Swami has attained a state which is a misnomer. So from today onwards, let us all desist from, if we had a habit of saying that, let us not say that I had a darshan of samadhi, because that slab of stone doesn't denominate him. Because he is not just that much. Swami says you can always worship picture as God, but not God as picture. There is a world of a difference between these two. So, these Pandits, they challenged Bhagavan, and Swami had been challenged by these people. So in the precincts of the bhajan hall, the Pandits were also sitting for bhajan. And then they got a front place immediately after the bhajan singers, So they got a very good place, vantage place. And then Swami stood there, and Swami that day addressed only these Pandits. And the contents of his discourse that day was the Varna Ashrama. And then it was meant, he was telling this to us also, but then Swami was addressing them, seemingly he was addressing them. So he said that you feel that the Brahmins have an edge over the lesser beings, the lesser low caste people. So Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The scriptures that you read yourself tells you million times that these are only a vocational stratification, Swami said. It's not a caste stratification. It doesn't make you greater and smaller. It doesn't make you great and small. Then Swami said, Brahmanosha mukham asit, then bahu rajanya kritaha, udu tadasya yadvaishyaha, pad bhyagam shudro ajayata. Then he went on to say Chandrama Manusho Jataha. He explained us the meaning of that also. But suffice it to say, Swami said, in a human person, who is more important? The legs that carries you, or the head that feels very headstrong? What is more important, Swami said. Then somebody said, Swami, the legs are very important, the legs are very important because it carries the entire frame of the body. But Swami said, head also is very important. Mastak ka kaam karna hai, that's what Swami said. Mastak ka kaam karna hai. Lekin mastak mein pustak hi rakhega, to mobile library banega, Swami said. If you keep all that stuff, all that knowledge into your head alone, and walk around like the salt of the earth, and feel that you know everything, you are the knower, then that is ostentation. Swami said, Vidya Dambha is the worst type of Dambha. The worst kind of ostentation is the one that generates out of your feel that you are a knower, that you are knowledgeable, you know everything. Such a person will never succeed in spiritual progress. So the first thing that you have to sacrifice is the head, Swami said. You have to cut it off. So, Brahmanosya mukham asit, in the entire human frame, the head is so important as much as the arms. Brahmanosya mukham asit, bahu rajanya kritaha. Somebody hits you, what do? Swami said. Your reflex is that you want to save yourself and you raise your hand, your arms. So the arms connote the defense mechanism in you. The arms are what defends you. Once you want to fend yourself, you raise your arms in self-defense. And with the same arms, you pick up your whatever missile you want to throw on the person. Without the arms, you are nowhere. You cannot do karma without the arms. So the arms are very important. So Swami said, this is Brahmin, this is Kshatriya. That Chhatra Dharma is to fend the integrity, the territorial integrity of the country. So if there is an incursion from somewhere, you have to fend yourself. So if you allow so many inroads and invasions into your system, not only physically, but mentally, you are bombarded every day. Because you allow these dirty thoughts, bad thoughts also to come inside. So at that time, you have to fend yourself. So that defense mechanism in you, the defender in you is the Kshatriya aspect of you. And then what about the tummy? Swami said, you also got to eat. You have to sustain your life. To sustain yourself, you have to eat. And you can't eat unless there is something to eat there. And that you have to create. That food you have to create. So the source of sustenance is created by means of farming and commerce. That's what Swami said. Vanijyam is very important. And then the farming part is so important. Krishi is so important. So, the tummy part is the Vaishya. And Shudra are the legs. Your legs represent the Shudra. Now, just because the legs are down there, are they expendable? Swami said. If anything happens to you on your feet, will you cut it off and say, oh, dirty Shudra, let it go? You will be nowhere. So you want to be somewhere, you want to be carried around. It's the leg which does the paricharyatmakam karma, he said. It becomes the dasanu das. It holds you in good stead wherever you go. So these are the four components of your human personality, and you are denigrating that by saying that so and so is larger in size than the other one. So, did I say it right? Swami asked the Pandits. They were nonplussed. Swami said, I am not saying anything out of my mind. I am telling you everything right from the scriptures that you read every day. And then the ashram dharma was the most beautiful thing that Swami said. And it's a lesson that Swami gave the management students also at a later time. You know, time management is so important, Swami said. But we become so technical, we talk about so many other management, human management, this management, that management, and it sounds very technical and very modernistic. But we forget about time management. Despite the fact that since times immemorial we have been mugging up things like a stitch in a time saves 9. And we never do things on time. So Swami said, the best mantra, Maha Mantra for time management is the Ashrama Dharma. What is the Ashram Dharma? What are the 4 ashrams? Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. As simple as that. And now these 4 ashrams in parlance of time, Swami said. Now you think, once upon a time, a person was assured of living 100 years, being a centurion. So in 100 years, the first 25 years after birth was meant for his naming ceremony and all that and cognition, and after that, soon after that, school studies, going to the Gurukulam and going to Gurukul for the academic pursuit. So the first 25 years in academic pursuit. Now at 25, you feel that you are now good enough to get married, settle down, and for what purpose? For progeny. So you would get married and live a settled life with your wife. So that was the next 25 years. 50 years. Now you don't live that life all the time. Not that you are bored of living such a life, but then you have more pressing engagements henceforth. So the pressing engagement after that is that you want to withdraw yourself from the world of external stimuli. So when you want to do that, it is Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is hands in the society, heads in the forest. That's what Swami said. Very simple things Swami has said. And what we have done is we have discarded some of these simple things. Sometimes we tend to forget because we feel they're too simple. I know this, hands in the society, heads in the forest. What's so big about that? Very easy to understand. But if you go deep into it, you are asking a Vanaprastha. Once upon a time, they used to go into the forest and they used to live a very sequestered life in the forest. Now here, Bhagavan is telling that according to Raja Yoga, Swami says, mine is the royal path, Raja Yoga. And according to this royal path, you can be married and still be very spiritual. Who said that marriage takes away your spirituality? Because when you are married, in fact, there is not only you, but your wife also, your spouse also. And then the spirit is one, which gets married only once, which is the ultimate marriage. So Swami said, Swami said about the time management part. Swami said, you go and live a very sequestered life and you live in the forest. And forest, Swami again puns on it. How? You know it very well. Forest is for rest. Yes. So you give yourself, you rest now. It's time for you to rest. your kith and kin will do. But Swami said, you never do that. Because now you are worried about your grandchild. And then you say that once he grows up, then I will think about, I'll do my japam. But by the time he grows up, your japam goes away. Because there's no more time, you have no more strength left in your body to do japam. Sometimes, par dadi hone ke baad bhi, Swami says, sometimes you become a great grandmother, still you are, you are still caught up with the great granddaughter and great grandson. So don't do that. Once you have done your work, you go to the forest. And then the forest is the next 25 years. So 75 years, now you think that you want to take up sannyasa. So you sannyasa taking up, and Swami said nowadays only Donga sannyasi. In fact, in that group there were 2 or 3 yellow robed ones. And Swami said there are Donga sannyasis, that is, the fall guys who are acting like sannyasis. But they have all the desires of the world in them. But then they wear this ochre robe. The ochre robe, Swami said, is the epitome. It epitomizes, your being a recluse. And then you start garnering everything, and then Swami would tell us some other time. Swami has told us, the story of how one person, he gets fed up of his 9 children and wife. And then he feels that I think it's high time I take up sannyasa. So he goes into the forest and leaving these people, a great renunciation of this man. And then once he is in the forest, he's so happy. For first few days, he is extremely happy. Because he is by himself. And there are a lot of fruit-bearing trees and a lot of things to eat. So he was never hungry. There was a brook and a lot of water there. So he was never without water and food. So one day he went for his morning ablution and came back. And he saw a fat sannyasi sitting on he had a slab of stone on which he used to sit for his meditation. That day someone else was sitting on that slab of stone. So he said, please, if you don't mind, you have to leave that place, it's mine. So this man said, is your name written here on this stone slab? Is your name written? He said, my name is not written on it, but I was the first person to discover that, and that is mine, it belongs to me. He said, no. How do you know that I didn't come here before you? Much before you arrived here, I was already here. And I was sitting on this stone, and then this stone belongs to me. So this man and the other person, Swami, laughed like anything in that discourse and said, the person who had renounced everything went there in the jungle, in the wilderness, and then he got attached to a stone slab, and he started fighting tooth and nail with the other person just for the ownership of that stone slab. And Swami said, these are all, false sannyasis. So that day Swami said, Donga sannyasis. But real sannyasis, when you give up everything, the desire for liberation also you should give up. Then you are a sannyasi. Very difficult. Then Swami said, now there is, unfortunately, no guarantee that you are going to live for 100 years. Some people are just born and they die. Some people make it up to 50, 60, 70. So anytime you could fall dead. So what do you do now? How do you practice Swami asked the Pandits. So in such a case, how do we practice the ashram dharma? Because there is no guarantee. In the first place, there are no gurukuls anywhere. The gurukul system has vanished. It has been taken over by our modern British education system. So where is gurukul now? Then Swami said, when you wake up in the morning, in Brahma Muhurtam, think that you have woken up into the brahmacharya. You wake up, you are a brahmachari. Then after that, around 6 o'clock, Swami said, things start happening around you. You start hearing a lot of noise around you. That is the whole world waking up around you, stirring up around you. That is when you enter Grihastha. So for becoming a Grihasti, it's not necessary that you should get married and have children. Because all children are yours. The whole world belongs to you. All the birds, insects, animals, they all belong to you. So own up your responsibility and be a proper Grihasti. A Grihastha is one, Swami said, who takes care of his family. You be a Grihasti of a different type. You take care of everyone who comes into your orbit. Take care of everyone. Then, what is the next one? By evening, by twilight time, you start, it's too much to take. Throughout the day, you have done the commerce of life, you have got into it headlong. Now, by evening, you should start withdrawing yourself from this world, from the world of desires. You start withdrawing yourself. And as you withdraw yourself, by 9 o'clock, Swami said, you have withdrawn yourself completely from the world of desires, from the world of external activities. You have stilled the mind, and by that time, you have already ended your vanaprastha. And then by the time you go to sleep, you are a sannyasi. And when you go to sleep, don't keep calculations for tomorrow. Don't calculate and keep things for tomorrow. Be like the Mangal Arati, Swami said. Not the Mangal Arati like this, but with the Karpuram. And with the Karpuram, what is the beautiful part of the Karpuram is burns itself into nothing. Nothing is left, no residues are left. So be like the Karpuram. Just burn yourself out. Sleep and enjoy your sleep. You won't have a dream. And if you can sleep, get that type of peaceful sleep, you are a king, Swami said. Sleep like a king. So this beautiful discourse Swami was giving before the bhajan on the practical aspect of pragmatic approach to practicing the Varna Ashrama Dharma was so beautiful, I thought I should share with you. Did you feel good about this beautiful, practical, pragmatic lesson that Swami taught us? Each one of us, we wake up in the morning and we are Brahmins, Brahmacharis. But Swami said, unfortunately, when you go to sleep, that is the time when you make the ultimate calculations. And the calculations go into pages. And if you don't calculate with a pen and paper, you calculate mentally. You become all mental wrecks. And then you sleep and you get the worst nightmare. Because you don't sleep properly, because you have calculated, tomorrow I have this to do, tomorrow morning I'll wake up. You will plan so much for tomorrow without knowing whether you will wake up tomorrow. So this is so important. And another beautiful thing that Swami has said, these are all interwoven with experiences. These are experiences. These are also beautiful experiences. It's not only when Swami called you inside and then Swami created this or Swami created that. Swami healed somebody, because this he has been doing. He has been telling everyone that this is my ahar, achar, vichar and prachar. You know that about the cars, right? So Swami said, once some of the students felt that Swami is fond of cars. Every time some new car comes, Swami gets a new car. And he has a weakness for cars, that type of thought. And then Swami said, Swami got into, a new car was brought. Ultimately, Swami made a very big scene out of it. Swami got into the car at midnight. When the car was just brought and parked there in the portico in Vrindavan, Swami got into the car and Swami was all over the car. Because people had thought that way, Swami was just reflecting it back. People thought Swami has a weakness for cars. Swami betrayed all the weaknesses. Oh, this car is automatic, Swami said. The color is so beautiful. It surpasses any other car. This is the only car. In fact, this was specially custom designed for me, almost to that extent, Swami said. That he got into the car and asked Radha Krishna ji, let us go for a drive. At 9 o'clock at night, Swami went out for a car drive up to Sigahalli on Old Madras Road and came back. Then everybody had his theory confirmed that Swami loves cars, So the next day, Swami got into his Maruti car and went back to Puttaparthi. And he never rode that car again. So when he came back to Puttaparthi, Vrindavan, Professor Kasturi, for the benefit of humanity, he asked Swami. He knew it. He knew the answer. But he wanted Swami to spell it out for the people. And he said, Swami, you were that day head over heels for that car. And all of a sudden, you didn't even... In fact, Swami returned back the car. Swami said, I don't need this car. Take it back. Returned it to the person who had donated the car. Then Swami, you have returned the car and You are now going around in the Maruti car, which our registrar, Mr. Chakravarti, used to ride later on. Swami gave it to him, you remember? So, that car. And Swami said, I know of only 4 cars. I am fond of cars, and these are the 4 cars. And what are the cars? You know it very well. I want to hear from you. First car, Chamatkar. And Chamatkar is miracle. What is the second car? No. Second car. In the order of things. Chamatkar, Par Upkar. Then Samskar and Ishwar Sakshatkar. Swami said, I have only these 4 cars in my that are dear to me. Other cars I don't know. So why he does a miracle is for samskar, to bring about the transformation in a human being. Because that is foremost for him. He does that and nothing else. If we think that Swami has so many other missions, Swami said, no. I am not a missionary. I don't have any mission. And we are caught in this mission now. That we have to work in Swami's mission. And we have to make it successful. We the earthlings will make his mission successful. Because we have spotted the mission now. And Swami says, my only mission is the transformation in you and your liberation. That's the only reason why the avatar manifests. So, Sakshatkar is the ultimate. Ishwar Sakshatkar is the ultimate reason why Swami says that I do the miracles. We'll just sing 1 or 2 bhajans. I know. It's taking time. Then I'll share. There's a beautiful song. We could show it here. This song, anyway, we have a group of singers here, so we'll sing it together. So the song is called the Annunciation Song, like the Christ's Annunciation Song. So when Professor Kasturi had Swami's darshan, this was the thought that went into his mind, and this was his experience. Lo, there he is. You know, this is how, quite all of a sudden, Swami just makes his appearance when he gives darshan. That was my experience also, that is everybody's experience. You go to Prashanti lab, later on, then the music would start, darshan music. And you know how the darshan music was done? I'm just throwing some, giving you some ideas of how you and me can misconstrue things, and it will remain. Swami sent word through Mr. Chakravarti to the hostel, to me and Sanjeev, my friend Sanjeev Parboda, that people are all the time talking during darshan and wasting all the time. So I want them to mentally prepare for the darshan. So that preparedness is so important. So for that, Swami said, let there be music before the bhajan, before darshan, so that people will be caught in the melody of that. And then when Swami comes, they are in a mental state to receive him. Because we have to receive him inside, not outside. So when that was done, we both started composing music. And it took us 2-3 days, we composed music. Some 8 musical instrumental pieces were composed, but we didn't know who would play the music. Because we didn't have instrumentalists, we didn't have some people who could play the sitar. There were a lot of sitar pieces, flute pieces. We didn't know who would play. So we approached the warden. Sir, we want to go to Bangalore. This is very urgent. We have to record this in a studio. He said, you must be dreaming. Nobody goes from here without Swami's permission. We said, this is Swami's commandment. And he has commanded that we should record this and play it before his darshan. Then we have to go, because we don't have proper recording facilities. He fished out a tape recorder, those old tape recorder, mono type of tape recorder. So he said, record in this. So we said, how can you record instrumental music in a tape recorder without acoustics, without anything? You know it very well. So we said we want to go. We persisted. He didn't allow. By the time, because of this terrible dilly-dallying, it was too late. Swami sent word through Mr. Chakravarti again. He sent those days, those were days of music tapes and 60 minutes tapes, 90 minutes tapes, you know. So Swami sent a decker, double deck. It was a cassette player with twin deck. It was a twin deck, and you could copy the music from this tape into a blank tape also. So we could do that. So Swami sent that one and 70 pre-recorded tapes of Pandit Ravi Shankar, Pandit Shivakumar Sharma, all these Pandits, you know. Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurashia, Vijay Raghav Rao, and everybody's. So Swami's instructions were that I asked them to compose music they could not. So now let them make loops out of these tapes, fill them, and there were blank tapes also which Swami had sent. So Swami said, transfer from one tape into the blank tapes and make loops out of, because you know, one flute and then next to that could be a sitar piece from another tape. And they have to be so beautifully, you know, looped together, stitched together, that there should be no gap. And Swami was so particular, there should be no gap, because if there is a gap between two music pieces, that gap will disturb the meditation of a person who is in deep meditation. It will disturb his train of thoughts. So let there be no gap and stitch them together. And then the third injunction was that let them all be on the same scale. Now people have played in different scales. Could you do that just on that limited tape recorder? You could never do that. So today in a digital thing, you can do anything. You can make anybody sing. Whoever wants to sing, they will do something melodyne the voice, and all the apaswarams are erased. Just like, you know, all the wrinkles are erased and you look very beautiful once again. But that age, you know the age yourself, right? So this was what happened at that time. So I sat through the night to make loops, and you won't believe me. All the music pieces that I selected were on C sharp. All the music pieces were on C sharp. Whether they were recorded on C sharp, I don't know. But it so happened that I could stitch them together and made two 90-minute tapes. And the next day, I took it to the mandir and gave it to the sound engineer. Professor Saab, please. Swami has commanded, you should play this now. Before now, darshan, everybody is waiting for darshan. This is the time you should play. He said, I cannot play. Because Swami has to tell me, how can I play? I said, Swami has already said, you are not Swami. So I said, I am not saying I am Swami, but Swami has commanded that this should be played. And twice the registrar, Mr. Chakravarti, has come to the hostel with Swami's commandment, you have to play it. He said, no, I can't play. Unless I am told to play, because I can't risk myself doing this. By that time, Mr. Khaldas, who was the precursor of the darshan, he just came out of the interview room. The moment he would come out, that was the signature that now it will be followed by Bhagavan's advent. So Mr. Khaldas came out, and I told him, now he has already come out. What are you doing? You should have played it already. So this man got totally flustered. Okay, he said, and put the tape and just played it. And right at that time, Swami came out for darshan. So it looked as though the music was specially played for music effects for Swami's darshan, to enhance the impact of his darshan. It gave a totally wrong message. And then a lot of people had different thoughts, you know. People said after the darshan, today what happened, man? Something new happened. When Swami was giving darshan, music was going on. So I said that this is the truth. This is the true story. How many people could I go and convince? So now what happened was the next day, Swami didn't come out for darshan at all. And when he didn't come out for darshan, Mr. Khaldas, he just opened the door a little bit and just peeped in to see whether Swami is there. He closed. Swami said, darshan music shuru nahi kiya? Kaise darshan de sakta hai? How can I give darshan without the darshan music? Immediate reflection, immediate resound, immediate reaction. And that tradition continued after that. You know, so when we are in the presence of the Master, never qualify him, never try to, never tell him what to do. Never make suggestions. Ours is only to sit and listen and obey. And just do it. It's not for us to qualify. I think Swami meant it this way. it will be like another Mahabhashya written. Because the Swami used to tell us, before just the commencement of the 1 month-long discourses on Bhagavad Gita, Swami said, the Gita has been, I am not telling you, giving an interpretation on the Gita. That has been done by other teachers, Swami said. Mahabhashyas have been written. I am not giving an interpretation on the Bhagavad Gitas. This is Bhagavad Gita re-said and re-sung again, Swami said. What I am speaking is the Gita. And this is how then Swami commenced his discourses. So, we in our own small-mindedness, we tend to feel that Swami should do this, Swami should do that. Swami, I think, is thinking that way. So Swami said, don't make any interpretations. Just listen and obey. If you can say Kadishe Vachanam Tava in your life, that is the Maha Mantra of life. Kadishe Vachanam Tava. And for that, to extract that from Arjuna, who is us, to make us speak it out, he had to give a whole discourse for 18 days on Bhagavad Gita, the Gita discourse, right? One of the things that he said in the discourse, in Sri Krishna Bhagavan has said, is that why do we make so much out of life? Because you are caught between two nothingness, two ends, which vanish into nothingness. You know it very well. Before your birth, before the manifestation, my human manifestation, where was I? I don't know. And after my death, where will I go? I don't know. So, it's sung by Yeshudas Ji very beautifully. Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata. You know this? Avyakta nidhananeva tatra ka paridevana. I think I caught a very high scale. Let's sing it together. Avyaktadini bhutani What raga is this? Vyakta madhyani bharata. Sounds like Kirwani. Very informally I am asking you. Is it Kirwani? Sing it together. Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata. Avyakta nidhananeva tatra ka paridevana. Avyaktadini bhutani. So beautiful. Avyaktadini bhutani. So, you are caught, your reality as of now is the moment between the past when you were avyakta, you were unmanifest. Vyakta madhyani bharata, in the middle only you are manifest. Avyakta nidhananyeva. So henceforth, in the future, where you will go, there you will be unmanifest again. After you are gone, you are unmanifest again. So between these two unmanifestations, you are a manifestation. You are manifest. And then within that small time, you make so much out of life. So much confusion out of life. So on, now this is what is the basis of, the realization that I should not frittered away these very important moments. These moments that are so important to me. Swami says, Swami keeps quoting from Shankaracharya, and he says that Balas tavat Krida sakta, Tarunas tavat Taruni raktaha, Vriddhas tavat Chinta saktaha. Kopi na lagnaha. What kopi na lagnaha? Pade Brahmani. When are you going to think of Brahman? When are you going to think of the goal of life? When are you going to do that? So, now on this, we had so many experiences with Bhagavan, because every time it was only to make us understand that the goal of life is not somewhere there, but it is here within. All the research that you want to do, all the alchemy that has to take place is within you and not without anywhere. So it's only to drive home that point. We'll just sing this English song before I forget. It's an Annunciation song. I was on the Annunciation song and I digressed into something else. The Annunciation song is so beautiful. It says, "Lo, there he is. He just has appeared." The orange robe, because he is nothing but the entire robe itself. Whether he is right from, that's why he said, my form is so simple. My name is so simple. My everything that I do, my acts are so simple. My teachings are so simple, because he has made these complexities, he has formed them into very simple aphorisms. Love all, serve all is just an aphorism. But it contains the sum and substance of what we ought to do in life to regain this avyakta, the vyakta moment, to understand the importance of that vyakta moment. So, lo, there he is, the orange robe, the flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze. We'll sing it? We'll all sing it together. Don't think that we have to sing like the Americans sing or the Canadians sing. For some time, just think of the meaning of the song and sing. So what I mean to say is, don't criticize me because I am singing the song in English. The language that I speak is English, not English. Lo, there he is, the orange robe. Lo, there he is, the flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze. Lo, there he is, the orange robe. Lo, there he is, the orange robe. The flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze. That sounds beautiful. But if you can play a beat like, lo, there he is, no, not that slow beat. A drum beat. Lo, there he is, the orange robe. Lo, there he is, the orange robe. The flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze. The flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze. Sunlit halo hair. Sunlit halo hair. Sunlit halo hair. Fulfillment of every golden dream. Fulfillment of every golden dream. We'll sing it together. Sunlit halo hair, fulfillment of every golden dream. Sunlit halo hair, fulfillment of every golden dream. All the gods in Sai form. 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 orange road,
There is the orange road,
the flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze,
the flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze.
greatness, majesty, joy and charm,
Greatness, majesty, joy and charm.
greatness, majesty, joy and charm.
Greatness, majesty, joy and charm.
Good pity, peace and power, pity, peace and power, greatness, majesty, joy and charm.
Greatness, majesty, joy and charm.
Pity, peace and power,
Pity, peace and power.
He Shiva Shakti Krishna Rama,
He Shiva Shakti Krishna Rama.
Jehovah Buddha Jesus Christ,
Jehovah Buddha, Jesus Christ.
He Shiva Shakti Krishna Rama,
He Shiva Shakti Krishna Rama.
Jehovah Buddha Jesus Christ.
Jehovah Buddha, Jesus Christ.
Lo, there is the orange road.
There is
Together.
the orange road,
The flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze.
the flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze.
Sunlit halo have fulfillment of free gift. Together. Sunlit halo have fulfillment of every golden dream. All the gods in Sai fall. Oh, there is. Can you clap? The other way. The other way. Lo, there is the orange road, the flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze. Lo, there is
The orange road,
the flash, the flame, the fragrant
breeze.
sunlit halo have fulfillment of every golden dream.
Sunlit halo head, fulfillment of every golden dream.
All the gods in Sai fall.
All the gods inside fall.
Lo, there is
The orange road, the flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze.
greatness, majesty, joy and charm.
Greatness, majesty, joy and charm.
Pity, peace and power.
Pity, peace and power.
He Shiva Shakti Krishna Rama.
He Shiva Shakti Krishna Rama.
Jehovah Buddha Jesus Christ.
Jehovah Buddha, Jesus Christ.
He Shiva Shakti Krishna Rama.
He Shiva Shakti Krishna Rama.
Jehovah Buddha Jesus Christ.
Jehovah Buddha, Jesus Christ.
Lo, there is the orange road, the flash, the flame, the fragrant breeze. We'll sing the other one also. It's a beautiful song written by Swami to the students. And the way he wrote the song, every time Swami would leave Vrindavan and go off to Prashanti Nilayam, everyone used to feel like the Gopikas, completely lost and forlorn that the Lord has left. And he would have gone just a few kilometers away, 200 kilometers away maybe, to Vrindavan. But he would make us feel as though he is gone forever. And then he would write letters to the students. And the letters would always begin with, "My dear students." And then, "I know you are feeling bad You know, this type of letters he would write. I know, even if you didn't know, you would know that I am feeling bad. I am supposed to feel bad. That Swami has left me. Because, you know, as teenagers and as adolescents, after some time you forget. Okay, Swami has gone, he'll come back again. We tend to take it for granted. But then he would make us understand that you are supposed to feel bad that I have gone. You should feel lost and forlorn. And you are supposed to be praying that Swami, you should come back again. It was not a physical act of leaving Vrindavan and going to Prashanti Nilayam. But it was an act, it was a beautiful reminder to each one of us that you have to pine for him, you have to yearn for him. And some of us we did, some of us we didn't. But this is how it used to go on. So once when he was going away to Prashanti Nilayam, and he would announce it very boldly. He would announce, tomorrow I am going. And he would look at the reactions of students. Are they feeling bad? So we knew the reactions had to be, what the reactions should be. So everyone, Swami, please don't go. Swami, please don't go. Swami said, no, I'll go. Because you know you don't want me here. You don't like it. You get bored when I keep giving you discourses. So from tomorrow you can be yourself. No, Swami, please stay back. Swami, please. Swami, please, please. So we did that act again on our part. And then Swami wrote this beautiful song and just handed it over to the warden to be read out to the students in the evening. And then Swami left. So in the evening it was put up on the wisdom wall everywhere. And then in the evening it was read out. The letter was read out by Mr. Isudarshan. And he used to make it so wonderful whenever he used to read. It was almost like Swami reading out his letter. This is how he used to do that. So the song was, the letter, the poem, it was a small beautiful poem. The bird with you, the wings with me, the foot with you, the path with me, the eyes with you, the form with me, the thing with you, the dream with me, the world with you, the heaven with me. So we are bound, so we are free. So we begin, so we end. And then to this, later on it was added, I in you and you in me. So this song, we have tuned it. We sang it last year in one or two places in the US, in the United States, somewhere we sang this song. In Florida we sang it. And everyone participated. We'll do it together. The bird with you, you follow. The bird with you, the wings with me,
The wings with me,
the foot with you, the path with me,
the path with me,
the eyes with you,
the eyes with you,
the form with me,
the form with me,
the thing with you,
the thing with you,
the dream with me,
the dream with me,
the world with you,
the world with you,
the heaven with me,
the heaven with me,
the world with you,
the world with you,
the heaven with me.
the heaven with me.
So we are bound, so we are free.
So we are bound, so we are free.
So we begin and so we end.
So we begin and so we end.
So we are bound, so we are free.
So we are bound, so we are free.
I in you and you in me.
I in you and you in me.
The bird with you,
With you,
the wings with me,
the wings with me,
the foot with you,
the foot with you,
the path with me,
the path with me,
the eyes with you,
the eyes with you,
the form with me,
the form with me,
the thing with you,
the thing with you,
the dream with me,
the dream with me,
the world with you,
the world with you,
the heaven with me,
the heaven with me,
the world with you,
the world with you,
So we are bound, so we are free.
So we are bound, so we are free.
So we begin and so we end.
So we begin and so we end.
So we are bound, so we are free.
So we are bound, so we are free.
I in you and you in me.
I in you and you in me.
The bird with you, the wings with me, the foot with you, the path with me. The song is in another Kirwani. If you say that it's an English song in Kirwani, it will run. Is there any bhajan in Kirwani that we could sing? No, that we have sung so many times. Last time also we sang. Jai Ma Anandamay Janani.
Jai Ma
Jai Ma Anandamay Janani.
Jai Ma Anandamay Janani.
सबको कृपा करो जननी.
सबको कृपा करो जननी.
सबको कृपा करो जननी.
सबको कृपा करो जननी.
भक्त जनों के मंगलकारिणी.
भक्त जनों के मंगलकारिणी.
भक्त जनों के मंगलकारिणी.
भक्त जनों के मंगलकारिणी.
मंगल करो जननी माँ.
मंगल करो जननी माँ.
मंगल करो जननी माँ.
मंगल करो जननी
माँ तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी माँ.
तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी
माँ तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी माँ.
तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी.
सबको कृपा करो जननी.
सबको कृपा करो जननी.
सबको कृपा करो जननी.
सबको कृपा करो जननी.
जय माँ आनंदमय जननी. सबको कृपा करो जननी.
सबको कृपा करो जननी.
भक्त जनों के मंगलकारिणी. मंगल करो जननी माँ. तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी सबको कृपा करो जननी. सबको कृपा करो जननी. जय माँ आनंदमय जननी. सबको कृपा करो जननी. Do we have some more time? At what time they should stop? One more? One more hour. Don't tell me. Then I'll get into this beautiful, Swami calls it the roadmap of spirituality. And this roadmap was given to you. Would you be interested to know the roadmap? And this was given to reveal to Bhagavan very recently. Revealed by Bhagavan very, very, very recently to a great man named Pat Shankar. We call him Shankar Anna. Like he was, it's mind-boggling how, and the proof of this, like you say, the proof of the pudding is in its taste, in its sweetness, that it is really a beautiful, very, very delicious pudding. So you don't need any proof. You don't really need to ask, no, I didn't see Swami telling you. Because these bhajans that come to you, these are all one moment you are so blank and there is nothing in your mind. And the next moment you are filled with this bhajan. How does that happen? How could yesterday I sang that Netra Darshan? How many of us we were there yesterday? So Netra Darshan I sang. It just happened in a trice. So Arun has composed beautiful bhajans. And the bhajans that were not there, and the next moment it is there. So now if you ask, the proof of that communication, the divine communication, is the bhajan itself. Had he not communicated, how did the bhajan come into being? So he was driving on a freeway, and then all of a sudden there was a sudden impulse from within him, just pull over, stop the vehicle, and learn this from me. Because when you are driving, you are not paying attention. So you had to stop doing anything that you are doing to listen to the voice of God welling up from within. So the voice of God need not be necessarily be given to, one particular person and as the representative of God. It doesn't happen that way. Because God does not, possess somebody. But how it happens is in these beautiful subtle ways, So this gentleman, he just pulled over the vehicle. And then Swami asked him, now the inner thought process, what have you learned in all these years? Can you tell me in a nutshell? So he just thought, because if I ask you that question, if someone would ask me that question, I would be spellbound. I would be left without words to say anything. What have you learned in all these years? We don't know. We have learned some bhajans. We could say bhajan Swami. Or we could say that, Swami, I have learned Gananantva Ganapati. But what can you say? What is the essence of what you have learned from me in these years? Come on, tell me. So Shankar Anna said, I have learned Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, and Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Like you and me would say, I have learned love all, serve all. Because it's very easy to remember. He has made it so simple. But then how many of us we have really loved all and served all? You have to think. It's for us to think. So, is loving all just going and hugging somebody? Or really feeling for somebody? And then living out the rest of humanity? Is that loving all? Or does it say about an innate compassion in us which should well up from the depths of our being? Is that it? Is that what Swami says? By love all, serve all. So here, when Pat Shankarji, he said this to Swami, Swami said, how wrong of you. You have learned it all upside down. It's all wrong, topsy-turvy. So he said, Swami, you have taught this way. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Swami said, I taught you that way. But you have to graduate out of it now. You have to go to the next level. You can't live in kindergarten all the time. You have to graduate into the next higher level. So what could be the higher level of this? You can't imagine it. He said, Swami, please teach me then. And the teaching was so beautiful. Swami said, from Asat, how can you go to Sat? Tell me. If you look at it from a slightly transcendental angle, from that stance, otherwise it sounds very good. Asatoma Sadgamaya. From untruth to truth. from darkness to light, from death to immortality. It sounds very much in the fitness of things. But if you, Swami said, if you think about it very deeply, the meaning is all wrong. Because from you are already in asat. Asat means untruth. How can that state of untruthfulness take you to truth? Tell me. Swami said this. Then tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya is from darkness to light. You are already in the dark. You are used to that darkness. And how can that promote you? How can that darkness, that state of affairs, how can it promote you to a higher state of light? How can it happen? It doesn't have the strength. Darkness doesn't have the strength to carry you there. So how can you go there? Then from death to immortality, Swami said, it is still worse. Because you are already dead. So from a moment of inertia, from being dead, how can you promote yourself to immortality? Because you are already dead. There is no more chance for you to revive yourself. There is no revival after you die. Then he said, then what is it, Swami? So Swami said, the crux of the matter is, Dvaitoma Advaitam Gamaya. This is how you should understand. You should read Asatoma Sadgamaya, but the meaning of Asatoma Sadgamaya is Dvaitoma Advaitam Gamaya. It is not what you say, the English translation of it, that from Swami, lead me from untruth to truth. That is not the thing. Untruth cannot lead you to truth. Because if you are already caught up in untruth, you cannot go to truth. But Dvaitoma Advaitam Gamaya, Dvaitavad is a state of being, is a state of your being. You are in a non-dualistic state, wherein you exist and God exists, between you and God. So, a lot of people have made beautiful poems, that if you are the sky, I am a star, and all those parlances, people have made. So there is a chance for you to travel from this state to a higher state, because you are not dead and gone. You are not in untruth. You are not caught up in illusion. From this state, you can go to that higher state. So the transition is normal, natural. So Dvaitoma Advaitam Gamaya. Then the other one you should read it as Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya is Drishtyoma Adrishtam Gamaya. Drishtyoma Adrishtam Gamaya is from the seen to the unseen. So you are in the dark, I understand, Swami said. But the darkness is not the darkness of inertia, not the darkness which is tamas. But it has to be interpreted only in terms of what you are seeing is dark. See, what we are seeing, unless we have seen the unseen one. That is why Jesus Christ said, it's for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. It's not for nothing that was said. So you need eyes to see. So what about these eyes, these people's? I can see everything. No, you are not seeing, you are blind. So I am awake. No, you are not awake, you are sleeping. So this is how the uplifted, the saints would tell us. Because we feel that we are seeing and yet we haven't seen anything. So that is why Jesus said, blessed are those who haven't seen and yet have believed. And what about those who have seen and yet have not believed? It's a terrible, terrible predicament. And what about those who have seen and now they are seeing multiplicity? They are seeing Sai. They have seen Sai, the resplendent form of Sai, the glory of Sai. They have read about Sai, the glory of Sai, and they have seen with their own eyes, they felt with their own hands the glory of Bhagavan. And then yet, we go on looking for other glories. The glory resplendent in some other forms and other names and everywhere. Swami says, wherever there is something happening, there is bound to be a crowd there. Don't get enamored by the crowds. The crowds are illusions only. The reality is when you are left on your own and still you are. If you can feel that way, then you are illuminated. So now, before I go into the roadmap, I thought this is a preliminary, the teaser, This is what Swami told him. So tamasoma jyotirgamaya should be read out as drishtyoma adrishtam gamaya, from unseen to seen. And from death to immortality is wrong. Mrityurma amritam gamaya should be read as srishtyoma prema gamaya. So death, once you are dead, it cannot take you to immortality. But if you are filled with love, if you are in love with nature, which means being in love with nature, what does it mean? It doesn't mean becoming another William Wordsworth. Not that alone. Living in joy. Yeah, getting the thrill looking at nature around you. Living in nature is being nature itself. Wedded to nature. Never forgetting that I am a part of this nature. I am this nature. Because we forget, that is why we go fishing, then, trout fishing, then we go and kill, we eat chicken, then we go for beef, and then it's endless. Our desires are endless. We go into all that just because we have never learned to live in nature. Never learned to love nature. So if we love nature, we see love everywhere in nature. And if you actually go around and see, there is love written everywhere. But we don't have the heart to feel that love. So if we can feel that love, then if we can feel that nature, srishtyoma in nature, prema gamaya. So Swami, please give me that vision, give me that understanding of love, that experience of love while living in nature. Then life is fulfilled. That's what Swami said. It was a beautiful thing I thought I should share with you. But as I told you, this is only the beginning of so many exchanges that Shankaranna had with Bhagavan. And we know in one of those many pratyaksha, because he was one of those very fortunate persons who went to Prashanti Nilayam and had innumerable interviews from Bhagavan. In fact, their family used to be all the time called inside by Bhagavan. They used to be together with Bhagavan. And for every small thing or big thing in life, Swami was all the time guiding them. So he said the roadmap of life is where I started. Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidana neva tatraka paridevana. You are caught between, our existence is between two unmanifest moments. So this is the manifest moment. And then we are making a very big thing out of it. So how did we start our journey in this world? Because you said one full hour, I thought we would start with the journey itself. So the way I started my journey, and all of us, we started the journey, was by, as a baby. We were just newborn baby. And then at that time we had the first cry. And some people, they have a whole company called First Cry. And they sell all these, whatever babies need. They make business. But, we need to, the moment I saw the First Cry shop, I thought of the first cry that emitted from my lips, from everybody's lips. And Swami says that first cry is the universal cry of truth. Because at that time you are crying out for your mother. And you are also crying out because you are lost in wilderness. Till yesterday, you were happily just somewhere, some jiva. And all of a sudden, for 9 months, you were trapped in the mother's womb. And then you got accustomed to that type of living, sucking on the placenta and then living like that, and upside down and all that. You are used to it. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, you are out into the world. And the whole world, gravity pulls you down. And that is why you start crying. And the beautiful song, Kabira Jab Hum Paida Huye, you know the song, right? Would you like to sing this song together? We won't sing the whole song, there is no time, because I have to tell you the roadmap. Kabira Jab Hum Paida Huye Jagah Se Hum Roye ऐसी करनी कर चलो कि हम हंसे जगरो चदरिया झीनी रे झीनी. I'm not singing the The road map is there, that's why. So, Kabir said, when the child is born, it cries. Because when the child is crying, everybody is smiling and laughing around the child. Because and that too if it is a son, then heaven forbid, everyone will be in splits, laughing and happy and for no reason again, hugging each other. Somebody doing it artificially, somebody really happy, the mother definitely extremely happy, father also happy. Then slight digression because it comes to my mind what Swami said. When a newborn baby is born, when a new child is born, a baby is born, people after some time, the features of that baby starts pronouncing itself, So a lot of people all the time, they surround the baby, they play with the baby and make all strange noises, all that we do just to make the baby happy and make him smile and say Sai Ram. Sai devotee means it has to be, say Sai Ram. When my baby was, this is a very special baby. When he was born, he said Om Sai Ram. All those things we do. And the name also has to be Sai Krishna or Sai, Sai Rama, Sai Krishna. We give a good name also. So the baby is now happy. Now, Swami said, people now go to the next level of describing the baby. Its eyes are exactly like the grandfather. The grandmother will say, because grandmother is attached more to grandfather. So the granny will say, eyes look like his grandfather. Nowhere near the father, because if they don't like the father, then they would say that. But of course the nose looks like the mother. And the lips, exactly it has gone to you, some brother. So the description goes on. And Swami said, ultimately, that child seems to, have a piece of everybody on him. It looks like everybody. Then Swami said, you are also my child. What part of you looks like me, tell me? Swami asked this question. And then everybody was nonplussed. Because really we didn't look like him. Had our brother been there, we would have said, the hair looks like him, But even the hair doesn't, because I have touched Swami's hair, I was telling him the other day. And the hair is so silken, Swami's hair is so silken, the slightest puff of wind just blows it away. And again, it's so silken and so beautiful. I'm not saying your hair is not beautiful. So this hair, Swami is not talking about the physical features of Bhagavan. But Swami said, what part of you, of your personality, resembles me, tell me. Then Swami said, just by making your hair look like mine and dressing up like me, you don't become Sai Baba. Sai Baba is not only this name and form. But you have to understand Sai Baba. And Sai Baba has said it so many times, as I was telling you. For some people, standardization, accreditation, implementation, and inspection. For some people, this Sai has so many connotations, right? So, but how do we become Sai? How do I look like Sai? And Swami said, very simple, Swami said. Think like Sai, act like Sai, behave like Sai, be sincere like Sai, be like me. I am a living example, full life size standing in front of you, living for you. And I am your biggest reference. And if you don't know how to make me your reference and find other references, that's your problem. Because we are all the time looking for references elsewhere also. And sometimes we make, we compare those references with Swami. He also gives the same discourse, But he quotes profusely from the Shastras, Prasthanatrayas. Where Swami, he's very casual. So they will make comparisons and then sometimes, unfortunately, find Swami lesser than those people. So they go to those places also and then they justify it by coming to the organization and saying that, I go to the Chinmaya mission because, there they teach Gita. Here they don't teach Gita. So for that jnana, I go there. For bhakti, I come here. For karma, I go to the soup kitchen, So we have all different destinations where we go because we are never stable in our thinking. That ananyas chintayanto mam yejanam paryupase, today we were talking about during lunch, is so important. to be firm in my resolve, to be firm in my thinking. If you don't do that, the resolve is most important. That is why Swami said, Buddha said samyak before everything. So samyak sankalpa. What is samyak? Samyak is that firmness, the right resolve, the firm resolve. Because people could resolve to kill a person also. I firmly resolved today that I'll go and bombard that place, That's not a firm resolve. A proper resolve is when you resolve that you will do everything to attain liberation. That mumukshatva should be all the time burning into you. Then whatever you do will be spiritual. Whatever you think is spiritual. That's what Swami says. So, a part of us every day, which would think, should resemble him. So I was very happy one day. I was walking in the street, and a group of people whom I didn't know, they were just talking, and I overheard that conversation. And they were telling, that guy, you don't talk about him. He's so naive and so stupid. He's just like a Sai devotee, he said. And I was so happy, because the connotations, the indications were that he is so simple-minded, he's a simpleton, so naive, anyone can take him for a ride, he's a pakka Sai devotee. So that thought was wonderful, If we have achieved that in life, that simplicity. Because Swami says, I am simple. So I also need to be simple. If I am complex, then I have not imbibed that from Bhagavan. So, to cut things short, Swami gave him a beautiful roadmap. Swami said, you begin your life with that small cry and that I. So it's a journey from the lowercase I to the uppercase I. So the journey, in between the journey, there are so many I's. So then Swami said, in the beginning, you are faced with ignorance. So that is the small case I. You are in utter ignorance. You don't know what is what. And then your mother teaches you to walk. You learn how to walk. Then you learn the letters A, B, C, D. A means apple, B for bat, C for cat. You never say A for Atma, B for Buddhi, C for Chitta. Somebody had that bright idea. So we had in our university a chief guest of honor. He said, spirituality is very simple. I'll teach you today the ABCD of spirituality. So he started from A. On each letter, he dwelt for 15 minutes. By the time he came to Z, you can well imagine how it must have been. So we had a music program soon after his discourse. And our music program went for a toss because, we could not sing at all. Most of us boys were sleeping. 6 hours talk. I'm not going to do that today. It's from I to I only. It's a very short journey. His was from Atma to Z was what I don't know. So B was Buddhi. So we don't teach that to our children. We teach children A for apple, B for bat. And Swami said, you teach Baba black sheep, have you any wool? And you make Baba also a black sheep. So yes sir, 3 bags full. And eating sugar, no papa. Only in India, all the nursery rhymes are like this. So all children, if you can do that, mothers or parents are so happy. Oh, my child, just beta. Just say that nursery rhyme that you learned. And if you can say, see, precocious, He's able to remember the whole nursery rhyme. So I for ignorance. And we fill that ignorance with so many informations. So that is the second I. In ignorance, we look for information everywhere. And we are bombarded with informations. And information, Swami said, information is in formation. Now you have got into a formation to take things from everywhere. So that is responding to the external stimuli, people telling you, bombarding you with information. So we are all the time bombarded with ideas and informations, messages, news. So you get your first information that inside that cupboard there are some sweets and eatables. So you go and toddle up to that place, and then you have a nasty fall, and then the mother comes and picks you up from there. So you learn your lesson that if I go and do this, Then if I'm naughty, then I fall. And if I fall, I have to cry out for my mother, and mother has to come. So these are how we learned in infancy, how to stand. And then we learned to stand. And once we learned to stand, we were everywhere. So there had to be barricades everywhere throughout the house, lest we fall. So this is how we gathered information, and the information became more and more specialized information, very complicated information, until we started getting, all this artificial intelligence and all that. We started learning how to make permutations and combinations of those informations. So Swami said, the first time you get information, normally what should happen? What does happen after you get information? You get inspiration. You are now inspired to go and explore around the house, to go and see what is there on that table. So you slowly, painstakingly stand up, and then you see what is there on the table. And if the table falls on you, then you cry again, and mother comes and helps you. So right from that moment till now, we have been all the time, exploring. So we are inspired now. So in that inspiration, what do? We get into inquisitive experimentation. And Swami gave him the experience of Thomas Alva Edison. So Swami said he was a very, obdurate type of person, a very obstinate type of person who was all the time into, I must achieve these 700 experimentations he had done. And somebody said, are you not tired? And he said, no, I am waiting for another 300 more. Because altogether I had, thought that I would have to do 100,000 experiments before I get to a conclusion. So you also need that type of obduracy, So inquisitive experimentation is the next I. What could be the next I after that? Once you start experimenting, then what happens? You start getting a lot of things, lot of results, lot of ideas, and then you experiment on those ideas. You develop a lot of new products out of it. So you make a lot of combinations out of it. Then you get what? Your initial doubt. And the entire thing Swami is telling in terms of, in the parlance of Sai devotees, a devotee's journey. We begin in ignorance. We didn't know about Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. So we'll come to that later on. So now inquisitive, you get inspired, but then you get your first initial doubt. Am I on the right path? Am I doing it the right way? Is it the right way? Because suddenly, all of a sudden, you reach a dead end. And once you are at the dead end, because the dead end is boredom. You have been singing bhajan for such a long time. This is the way to achieve Bhagwan. And then you are singing bhajan and nobody is saying anything. Once in a while, some person comes and pats you. Oh, you sang very well. Too good. And then one day somebody comes and floors you. I said, what are you singing, man? It was terrible. You shouldn't have sung today. And that fellow suddenly hits the wall, and then that's the dead end, and he feels the first initial doubt. The initial doubt is, am I on the right path? Is this what I am supposed to do in my life? And once that happens, what should happen? The next, you have the initial doubt. What should happen? If you have the first initial doubt, what would you do? Inquiry. That's what we do. Inquiry is, self-inquiry, trying to know. So introspection. Inquiry is introspection. So once you introspect, then so many things start coming out of the closet. Things which are strangers to you, which I didn't even know how they had entered inside me. They start toppling out. And that becomes a very painful experience. So what gives you that experience, what makes you feel, brings you into the light of this understanding is your intuition. So Swami says, tuition is outside, intuition is inside. You should rely on your intuition. When you blend the intuition and tuition together, you will become a very bright personality. But you are basing yourself only on relying on your tuition, the bookish knowledge, Swami says. And to make people understand, he said knowledge. Bookish knowledge. In college, you get bookish knowledge which gives you allergy. Only Bhagavan can say such a thing. And 17 vice chancellors, they were sitting there and clapping and wondering, how did this great, Advaitic statement come? Because when Swami speaks, he speaks from authority. He speaks from the source because he is the source. And when he says knowledge, it stands knowledge. He wanted to rhyme it with allergy. So bookish knowledge in college is college, becomes ultimately allergy. So you suffer from it. So all this knowledge that we got makes us allergic to it. So we hit the farthest end of the wall, and then we initially doubt, and then I introspect, and on introspection, I get intuitive flashes that they were not, it starts sifting. That was not true, this is true. And then suddenly I understand that I have to redo the whole thing. I took the wrong exit. So, and I have come a long way. I have to retrace back my step. I have to go back in time and then start from where I had started. From a scratch I have to start. And that thought becomes that thought, and that entire experience makes you suffer. So intense suffering, immense pain is the next I. Intense suffering, immense pain. The pain is intense because you were taking life for granted. And all of a sudden you understand that life is not only just fun and frolic. But if I have to understand life, and if I don't understand life, the end is going to be very difficult. So if I try to understand life, I have to retrace back my steps. I was into drinking. It was fantastic. Going and hitting the pub, drinking and merrymaking, fun and frolic with friends, hanging out somewhere. It was fantastic. Smoking cigarette, drinking. But all of a sudden, you have to stop all that and undo the whole thing that you have done in life. All the mistakes that you had committed in life. So it's a very intense struggle, immense pain. And that leads to inner awakening. That leads to an inner awakening of what is right, what is wrong. Awakening is when I understand what is right, what is wrong. That Vivek and Vairagya starts working. Vivek and Vairagya, discrimination and detachment. We have been all given the faculty of discrimination and detachment. That is why I am a human being. The crest jewel of God's creation. Because I am endowed with these two, which the other beings are not endowed with. They don't have discrimination. They do everything indiscriminately. And there is no detachment at all. Because they live by instinct, not by the intellect. But we have been given instinct and intellect both. Swami says, both these faculties you don't use at all. You live very on your impulse, not instinct. So, now when you look at it, intense suffering, immense pain leading to inner awakening. It is just like a lamp which is now lit up inside you. And when the lamp is lit up, it doesn't extinguish because that lamp is you. And that is an illumination. So once the lamp is lit up, awareness dawns on you, there is inner illumination. So from that illumination is I, the uppercase I. And that uppercase I, Swami says, is here. Whenever you meditate, you think, and Swami would always sing and say, Chalo re man Ganga Jamuna Tir. He would do this. It was a very esoteric mudra, a very esoteric gesture of Bhagavan. Ganga Jamuna Tir. So the shore of this, what do you call? Tir is the embankment. The banks of the river is the Yamuna, is the Saraswati. And the Saraswati is the third eye, which opens up inside, inward, not outward. So Swami said, close the eyes and open the eye. Close the eyes, the external eye, which sees all the desireful things, and then open the eye. When the inner eye opens, the outer eyes and whatever we desire is completely burnt to ashes. So this is the beautiful experience, the beautiful journey from eye to eye, which Shankar Anna got from Bhagavan in one of his meditations. So we'll just end up with one or two bhajans. Is there any bhajan that comes to your mind? Govind. I didn't bring that bhajan today, but
Uncle Ayodhya Shiva.
known bhajans will sing. Okay, D sharp only. There is a bhajan called Krishna Krishna Manamohana. You know this bhajan? It's such a beautiful esoteric bhajan. Every bhajan is esoteric, but this bhajan, if you just think about it, it is just the whisper of your breath that pronounces this bhajan. Krishna. It's that Krishna, Krishna. I had this experience with Swami Chidananji Maharaj, who came to Sikkim. At 100 years old, Swamiji came to Sikkim. And he sat on the pedestal and on the stage. And then all the Swamijis had spoken. And then when his turn came to speak, his was the final pronouncement. And when he spoke, you know what he spoke? He went near the microphone and he said, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He said 3 times. And there was a magic spell over the people. He just said Krishna 3 times. Utterance of Krishna with that experience of having attained Krishna was completely different from what we sing. So that was a great opportunity to see a very high level of pronouncing Krishna's name. And we sang Jaya Jaya Krishna. And Swami had to first correct the pronunciation. Forget about realization. Swami said, Krishna. How are you saying Krishna? Is that the way to pronounce? So he spent hours on end correcting our pronunciation. So till we said, and we found it very difficult to sing because Swami would say Krishna. So when we said Krishna, Swami would say, no, atla kado, Krishna. So when we said Krishna, again, Krishna. Again, you know. So when we sang at the end of it, Jaya Jaya Krishna Yadunandana
Jaya Jaya Krishna
Jaya Jaya Krishna Yadunandana
Jaya Jaya Krishna
Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Chandana Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Chandana Jaya Jaya Krishna Yadunandana Jaya Jaya Krishna Manamohana Jaya Jaya Krishna Manamohana Jaya Jaya Radhe Gopalana Jaya Jaya Sai Gopalana Jaya Jaya Sai Gopalana Jaya Jaya Sai Gopalana जय जय वृंदावन चंदना
जय जय वृंदावन चंदना
जय जय कृष्ण यदुनंदना
जय जय कृष्ण यदुनंदना
जय जय कृष्ण मनमोहना
जय जय कृष्ण
जय जय साई गोपालना
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 जय जय कृष्ण यदुनंदना आनंद राम आनंद श्याम
आनंद राम आनंद श्याम
आनंद राम आनंद श्याम
आनंद राम आनंद श्याम
नारायण साई नारायण
नारायण साई नारायण
नारायण साई नारायण
नारायण साई नारायण
नारायण साई नारायण प्रेम स्वरूप ब्रह्मानंद प्रेम स्वरूप ब्रह्मानंद सच्चिदानंद हरि नारायण सच्चिदानंद हरि नारायण नारायण हरि नारायण नारायण साई नारायण नारायण साई नारायण नारायण साई नारायण आनंद राम आनंद श्याम नारायण साई नारायण नारायण अयोध्या शिरोमणि दशरथ राम अयोध्या शिरोमणि दशरथ राम साकेत रंजन कैवल्य धाम साकेत रंजन कैवल्य धाम अयोध्या शिरोमणि दशरथ राम नीरज लोचन साई नारायण बंध विमोचन भक्त परायण प्राण सखा मेरे प्रभु साई राम प्राण सखा मेरे प्रभु साई राम साकेत रंजन कैवल्य धाम साकेत रंजन कैवल्य धाम अयोध्या शिरोमणि दशरथ राम नीरज लोचन साई नारायण बंध विमोचन भक्त परायण प्राण सखा मेरे प्रभु साई राम साकेत रंजन कैवल्य धाम साकेत रंजन कैवल्य धाम अयोध्या शिरोमणि दशरथ राम आओ प्रभु आओ साई भगवान आओ प्रभु आओ साई भगवान सत्य साई भगवान प्रेम साई भगवान आओ प्रभु आओ साई भगवान सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम प्रदाता सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम प्रदाता जग को धारण सब दुख हारण जग तो धारण सब दुख हारण आओ नारायण भक्तों के प्राण आओ नारायण भक्तों के प्राण आओ नारायण भक्तों के प्राण आओ प्रभु आओ साईं सत्य साई भगवान आओ प्रभु आओ साई भगवान सत्य धर्म शांति प्रेम प्रदाता नित्य निर्मल जीवन दाता जग को धारण सब दुख हारण आओ नारायण भक्तों के प्राण आओ आओ नारायण भक्तों के आओ प्रभु आओ साई भगवान अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्य भावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वरः हरिः ओम तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु।